Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the afternoon. Joining me as always, it's Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor. What's going on today, Chuck?
You know, just pushing through the week. It's old hump day.
We are here on Wednesday. I just remembered I have to write that top 10 things thing tonight for the what if pieces.
The what if, yeah.
Meant to do that Monday, decided against it, and now here we are. It's due tomorrow. This is very much reminiscent of college.
I was gonna say this is exactly how you approach
I told
school,
Charlie,
wasn't it?
don't worry about it. I'll handle it. And we got some time. We got like 36 hours before this thing comes out.
Okay.
That's more than enough time.
Sure.
All right, we have a lot of things to get to today. First and foremost, you know how we start. Hit the like button. Do it. Hit the freaking likes. Everyone here at PHLY, very impressed with our ability to get what we want out of you people, which is likes. And we need to continue doing that.
And listen.
Yeah, and all of your participation every way you are able to support us. We appreciate it very much. So hit that like button. It costs you nothing. And you're here, so chances are you like us. Hit it. We have new merch. That's right.
Or you really hate us so much that you watch.
You know what?
Just to hate us.
You spend enough time watching wrestling, you realize that's someone you love too. You can't have the good guys without the bad guys.
Amazing.
You need the yin and the yang, good and evil. You can't have one without the other. We've got the new merch. There's some really great designs in this new drop available at allphly.com. Just hit that merch tab. Big fan of the Spectrum shirts. The mascot demon collaboration thing is growing on me. I'm starting to think he's kind of cute.
Really?
Yeah,
Isn't this sort of what happened with Gritty?
Gritty's
where
face.
The initial reaction to Gritty was, "Oh my God, that is a deranged, on drugs Muppet," and now everyone thinks he's the greatest thing ever.
That's why I loved him right away. But we have Gritty's face, the Fanatic's nose, Swoop's wings, and Franklin's feet with a midnight green Liberty Bell T-shirt. I love him, honestly.
It is what you tried to say yesterday, an amalgamation.
Yeah, I don't know.
The mascot.
I can't actually say that word. I can barely say like people's names. They're not even complicated.
You're not
names.
wrong.
What did I call? What was the artist? What did I call the goalie from Vancouver? I called him something really stupid.
Oh,
yesterday.
Shelovs.
I called like Shivos or something.
Yeah, that sounds
Shilvas
right.
or something. It was not what his name is, and that's the way I see it, even though it's not right. Anyway, yeah, that's that. Check out the new merch. Order it. It'll make us look real good.
That's true. It would. And it'll make you look real good too.
Yeah, you'll look great in it. That Sixer shirt with the 01 font, very cool. The Spectrum stuff, very cool. So check them all out.
I saw quite a few people wearing PHLY gear at development camp. That was cool.
I was
down in the on ice level.
I was on the it's not a boardwalk. I refuse to say promenade for Sea Isle, but it's not boards. But I still call it the boardwalk. And like leaving the arcade with my niece and nephew, and I just see like kid, probably a little younger, like I don't know, early 20s, like coming this way, and I just see him like notice me, and he's wearing a PHLY shirt, and I'm like, yo, great shirt. He's like, what are the chances? Awesome. So yeah, be a person I notice in public and wear a PHLY shirt. All right, Chuck, I'm gonna get back to prospect talk yesterday because we kicked it all off talking about Scott Wheeler's prospect rankings that dropped the other day on The Athletic. And we talked mostly about the first tier, the top end guys recently drafted: Martone, Zavragin, Nesbitt, the guys we expect to potentially be, if not star level players, at least like top half of the lineup contributors. Now, we touched on the second tier and some others yesterday, but I wanted to do a little bit more because like Alex Bump, I think, is going to be one of the most popular guys we talk about this summer. I think he drives a lot of conversation right now. People are excited for the shiny new thing.
We lost Shabanov, so now we got to lean heavy on Alex Bump.
No Shabanov, so we need at least the views by putting his name in the headline every day. But you have your second tier. You laid it out yesterday with Jack Murtagh, Alex Bump, Denver Barkey, Carson Bjarnason, Shane Van Sage, Spencer Gill, and Carter Amico.
Right. This is the reason why I have these guys as the second tier is because each of them they check two boxes. Number one, their ceilings are legitimately impactful, where they could be a top half of the lineup player. They could score a fair amount of points, or they could be taking a lot of minutes. So their ceilings are, second line winger. Van Sagi I have as like a middle six power forward who's on power play one. Amico, second pair defenseman. Gill, second pair defenseman. So the ceiling is not star level, let's say, but it is guy who you want in your lineup and you really miss if he's not in your lineup. But then their floors are, they just don't even make it. Like,
yes.
There is a real world where every single one of these guys does not pan out as NHL caliber players. Now, I hope we don't live in that world. I hope that many of these guys pan out as NHL caliber players. But compare that to worst case scenario, Porter Martone's a quality middle six wing. Worst case scenario, Jet Luchenko is Ryan Poehling. Worst case scenario, Alex Bump flames out in his first phase of NHL action, then spends the rest of his career in the AHL. Like, that could happen.
All right, because that was my first question in terms of the guys in this second tier. And just based on like pedigree and not having seen him yet, like, yes, he looked awesome at development camp. Also, there's, 18-year-olds out there. He should look better. He just won a national title in the NCAA Division I.
Yeah.
Like, he is just the most polished of those dudes.
Yeah.
But is that what keeps him out of the top tier? Because it really feels, and I know you're confident, it's not as if you're like down on Alex Bump. You're like, everybody relax. Like, you're pretty confident that Alex Bump has a great chance to make this team and be a decent, at least NHLer. But you have him in this second tier. Is it pedigree? Is it, he's just, who knows if he can play in the NHL? Like, as much as, maybe Luchenko doesn't have the highest ceiling. We've already seen him play NHL games.
Right.
Like, he's keeping it. Is that the difference here?
Yes, it 100% is. And they're absolutely with Alex Bump right now in Flyers world is a little bit of, well, we're obviously right on him. Well, the Flyers love him, so the Flyers must be right. And he looks good in development camp, so he must be really good. And you have to remember that every team has a couple Alex Bumps where they think he's going to be better than the hockey world at large thinks he's going to be. Now, I'm not saying there aren't people in the game that like Alex Bump a lot. There are. But he's not going to be making top 100 lists of anyone. The fact that he was not on Scott Wheeler's list was not a case of Scott Wheeler not valuing, upside or philosophy or things like that. It's because the general consensus of Alex Bump is, he could make it, but he's not a top tier prospect. Like Isaac Howard, I believe he ranked 50th. Alex Bump, I don't think sniffed the list. The general consensus of the hockey world is the Flyers are maybe counting their chickens before they're hatched a little bit with Alex Bump. Now, the Flyers might ultimately be proven right. And I think it is legitimately possible the more you watch him and the more you think like, there is legitimate offense here. You look at the numbers. Interesting. You watch him in development camp. Ooh, he really pops. So there is an element of we maybe have more information than the national people do, the scouts who are scouting the league as a whole or multiple junior leagues. But you can't ignore the fact that if you polled 50 scouts, maybe 5 of them would have Alex Bump as a top 100 prospect in the league.
There's also the idea of like, he's not huge, like 6 foot, around 200. He's not small, but
he's not an elite skater. He's not a bad skater, but he's not an elite skater. He doesn't have necessarily like his best tool is probably his shot. But a lot of guys have good shots. And then the question is, well, are you going to get into position to be able to use it? Like Oliver Wahlstrom had a great shot. He's a swingman, and he was a top 10, 12 pick.
There's also, he's going to be 22, like around Thanksgiving. It's like the developmental runway.
Very true.
Like when he steps out there, say he makes his team in camp, say he spends a month in the AHL, whatever. When he steps out there, he probably doesn't have the ladder to climb. He doesn't have as much of that developmental runway. He is closer to a finished product at this time than a, not yet 19-year-old Jet Luchenko or something like that.
Yeah.
There's just this, listen, he spent 2 years in the USHL. He spent 2 years in the NCAA. He's kind of what he's going to be. Not entirely. Like, you learn how to play in the NHL and get better because of that. But just physically, he is what he's going to be in all likelihood.
Yeah, he can get a little bit bigger, but overall, he is definitely more physically developed than, maybe not a Luchenko because he's unique.
Yeah.
But certainly a Nesbitt. probably even a Martone in some ways, because Martone, despite the fact that he is big, he is tall, he could certainly stand, especially in his lower body, to get stronger, and they hope that that's going to make his skating better. So, yeah, with Bump, it's more, you do have to pull yourself out of the Flyers fan analysis bubble and say, how does everyone else view this guy? And most people do not see Alex Bump as a slam dunk NHLer. And if I were to say he's on the same level as Agent Luchenko, most people around the league would be like, really? You think that about him? The Flyers maybe do, but I would say that the majority of people in the NHL orbit do not.
And like, as fans, we're just excited because, like, yeah, maybe Jet Luchenko could make this team. I have no idea. I'm 50-50 on it right now. Like, yeah, it could be. Also, maybe it's a numbers game. We're gonna do an episode of the Shootout either today or sometime this week, where we talk about what our ideal or dream lineup or whatever is for opening day. And it's, yeah, maybe I have Luchenko in it, but like, Bump is in mine, and maybe we're just a little excited because it's here and now, and I don't want him to go to the AHL. Like, that does nothing for me.
Right.
Like, whether he goes wherever Luchenko ends up, it's like, well, that he's still developing. Bump, it's like, I want this thing now, and that's exciting that we have this guy right on the cusp. So of course we're gonna go maybe a little over the top with it, but it is important to remember, like, he's probably not a star.
We're being influenced definitely by the Flyers hype.
Because who else is talking
They've
about
been hyping him up,
Yeah.
but he's not getting hype in national circles to the degree that he's getting hype in local circles. I'll compare it to, let's say, like, the best case scenario outcome and the not worst case scenario, but the more realistic outcome. These types of guys that are coming out of college a little bit older, sometimes they're Shane Gostisbehere, where the general consensus of the league is interesting, but, far from a sure thing. And then they hit the pro level and it's like, oh man, he's real good. He can do everything he can do in college.
That stuff here, yeah.
And then there's guys like Wade Allison. And if you remember, when Wade Allison first made his debut, that was still under the Fletcher regime. And they were real high on him. He came up. Yes. He was like the breath of fresh air for a team that had basically given up on the season. That was in the 2021, depressing season. He came up and was impressive. And then it looked like he was going to be the sure thing to make the team out of camp. And people online were like, how can people not be high on Wade Allison? He's going to be great. Look at how good he is. And then he got hurt in that rookie game and never was the same. Now, maybe it was the injury, maybe it was other things, but Wade Allison, it ended up being that the national people were right, that he really wasn't an NHL caliber player, or at least a full-time NHL caliber player. And that's a plausible outcome for Bump too.
Yeah. So we'll see with Bump, but if you had to, and again, check out the mini pod whenever we end up doing this and it drops. But right now, I have, again, no idea if, like, Luchenko makes it. I'd like to see Grebenkin. That would be cool, but I doubt it. There's just a lot of guys ahead of him. But I have Alex Bump in my mind on this team when they drop the puck. We'll find out the
who was the player you weren't going to trade Alex Bump for? When we had this conversation about
it was like someone good.
It was someone really good.
Yeah.
It might have been Rossi. You're like, I wouldn't trade Alex Bump for Marco Rossi, and I flipped my lid.
I just don't like Marco Rossi that much. Okay. Like, I think he's good,
but you were like, but maybe Luchenko. I'm like, what? You won't trade Alex Bump for Rossi, but you'll trade Luchenko? Maybe?
I think I have a better idea of what Luchenko is going to be. Like, I have no idea what Bump could be, and that's exciting.
He's a boat.
But yeah, exactly. Like, mystery box. Like, Luchenko is this thing, and it's a thing they need. But Bump could be even better. Who knows? Or, like you said, he could be like a dude who scores 28 goals in the AHL and will get called up for injuries. Yeah. But and I'm probably wrong in that assessment about, like, Rossi and everything. Sure, I'll be wrong about that. Like, I just don't like him that much, honestly. Okay. Like, that's the thing. Like, would I have included Bump in a Zegras trade? Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I kind of like what we got him for, where it's assets where we know what their value is.
You could trade a prospect who could be real good, or you could trade no prospects.
Yeah, you could
still get him.
You could trade a guy I like, but I know exactly what he is.
Yeah, we know what Ryan Paley is.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's Alex Bump. I am, like, right now, do you think he's on the ice when the schedule gets released in like 45 minutes, whenever that first game is, second week of October? You think he's on the ice for them?
Well, we talked about this a little bit a few weeks ago, and my view of the Alex Bump situation in camp is this is not a Tyson Forrester situation where he is going to have to flop not to make the team. That was the situation with Forrester when he was trying to make the team because Torts loved him and the entire organization thought he was great. And it was like, yeah, he has to be actively bad or else he's on the team. Bobby Brink outplayed him, and the answer was not, well, Bobby Brink beat him out for the job. It's, I guess we got to put both of them on the team because Tyson Forrester's on the team and Brink was better, so I guess Brink has to be on the team too. I think that Bump has to have a good camp. I just think he's going to have a good camp. If he does the same thing he did at development camp, he's a shoo-in because he was the best player on the ice at development camp on an ice surface that included, a guy who could have went second overall in this just drafted draft.
Yeah.
So if Bump is that good at main camp, at rookie camp in September, he's making the team, and I'm expecting him to be good. But I don't think this is a case of, Brent Flair has snuck into the office after hours to write Alex Bump name in permanent marker. No, I don't think it's that.
Hey man, we already printed the locker tag for you. Like you're here.
He has to be good in camp.
We have a jersey.
I just think he's going to be good in camp.
No, and there's no indication that he won't be, because he's come through in all okay, now we're in the Frozen Four and he's one of the best players on the ice. Now he's at rookie development camp and he's out there. We got to see him at rookie camp. We got to see him in main camp.
I just think
got to see him in the preseason, but there's no reason to think he won't be one of the better players because thus far that's been the case every time he's been tested.
Yeah.
I want to touch a little on Denver Barkey. I think we've talked
he's like everybody's favorite dark horse prospect.
We've talked a decent amount about him, and again, I do not expect him to make this team. I think that would be very, very surprising.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going. There it is. Not even surprising.
Zero
Just
chance.
will not happen.
No.
We know the measurables. We know what's holding him back. 5'9". He's listed at 154. I got to believe he's bigger than that, but that's the elite prospect.
He's definitely bigger than that. I think he's around like the 170 range now.
Still undersized, third round pick a couple of years ago. But you just look at the production and it's like, why, other than the stupid things that we put weight into? And listen, I'm not saying size doesn't help you, especially when you're younger and still developing. I'm not saying playing with more pace wouldn't be beneficial. But when I see a guy who in the last 2 OHL regular seasons has 184 points, when I see a guy who in these past playoffs was 2 points a game, I just have to believe he has what it takes to be something. And I realize he's in this second tier because maybe not. Maybe all the things that people say about him are going to hold him back. What if we just found that guy who's able to do it?
It would be cool.
5'9", like you said, maybe 170, 175 at this point. Still has some growing to do. He still looks like, a kid who's putting shaving cream on his face and like shaving without the razor. Like his dad's like 8-year-old or whatever. Like, I get it. But he's just really good though.
The thing with Barkey, and this is the thing that you have to say whenever people are like, well, what about Denver Barkey? He's a great prospect. Guys with his profile bust all the time.
I know.
It happens all the time. Now, that's not saying that every single guy like Denver Barkey busts, but there are a lot of guys who put up really good numbers in juniors, particularly when they play on really good teams and are 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", and don't have an elite skating tool. And then they spend their whole career in the AHL or they go over to Europe. Like, it happens all the time. Now, the thing that separates Barkey from a lot of those guys, and this is why I remain hopeful about his plausible upside, is he plays the kind of style that makes you think that he can overcome it because he just has that dog in him. He plays hard. He has plus level compete. He flies around there trying to make things happen. That said, like, Jacob Pelletier has plus level compete too. Maybe not on the level of Barkey, but he competes hard. He plays hard. He flies around out there, and he might just be an AHL, NHL swingman. The Flyers didn't give him a qualifying offer, shows how they view him. So you have to just keep in mind with Barkey that guys with his profile tend not to make it, even though I remain hopeful that he could be the aberration. He could be the exception.
He will be, if he becomes a good middle six forward for this team, he will be defying the odds. He will be an exception. He will be an aberration if he's able to do it. The expected outcome is, damn, if he was just a little bigger.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else in the second tier that you really want to touch on? We talked about Bjarnason, and it's like, yeah, goalies. Van Sage and Amico just drafted. I don't think anything about Spencer Gill before we hit the Spencer Gill. I think he's a while away. Like
Yeah.
that's the. I don't think
He's a bit
he's
away.
in. I don't think he's in the immediate.
He's gonna play this last year
Yeah.
of juniors in the queue, and then he will turn pro and probably get at least one, if not 2 or 3 years in the AHL, and then we'll see what he is. But again, guys with his physical tools, with his size, he's a right-handed shot. They're going to get chances. I mean, Helge Grans is going to get chances. They get chances.
Yeah.
So Gill will get a shot, and I like the physical tools enough to say that if he were to put it all together, he could be a second pair guy.
All right. And that's that second tier. I want to get to just a few guys on the others list here.
Sure.
But first, let's take our first commercial break. Got to talk to you about Ace Hardware Home Services, because our friends at Ace, whenever they start a new job, they remember what to bring. They bring experience. They're local plumbers and techs that handle everything from repairs and seasonal maintenance to installations and upgrade. They bring understanding. They listen to your goals, and the job isn't completed until you're satisfied. And they bring helpful. They bring helpful to your home so you can spend more of your time on the projects that really matter to you. They provide free estimates on equipment installation and replacement with trusted advisors and options that are best suited for your home and budget. And it's service you can trust, and satisfaction is guaranteed because Ace Hardware Home Services, well, they're local. Their teams live and serve in your community and are dedicated to keeping their neighbors comfortable in their homes. So visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. Charlie, I walked into my garage yesterday and it was a sauna in there.
Yeah, this Philly heat, especially now, it's no joke.
This humidity is here. So what I ended up doing, I got like 20 bags of ice. I went into my backyard, filled a baby pool with them. Nice little inflatable I have back there. Did a little cold plunge.
Why didn't you just turn on your air conditioner?
I'm trying to be energy efficient. I hear the cold plunges are good for you. You seem like a cold plunge kind of guy. And I'm trying to save a little bit of cash as well.
Okay, well, instead of filling up a baby pool, and I don't believe you have any children, William, but instead of filling up a baby pool that you don't yet need, you could just check out Pico's energy-saving rebates. They've got deals on Energy Star cooling equipment that actually work and cut your bills.
So no more ice?
It's the summer. Flyers aren't playing. They've already melted all the ice in the rink.
Yeah, that seems like what's up. I'm going to have to check this out. It seems like the way to go, Charlie. Thank you.
So just head to pico.com/ways to save. They've got tips for everything. Heating, cooling, lighting, you name it.
Look at how quick we did that wardrobe change.
Hey, I'm wearing the same shirt.
It's so hot in here. I had to change my shirt.
You got
back.
changed.
Yeah.
I am exactly the way I was in that app.
Listen, that's what Pico's talking about. You know, you sign up with Pico, and maybe we could run the air a little cooler in here. Actually, it's pretty nice in the studio.
They should start selling Pico branded baby pools.
They should. Yeah. I wonder if they're like, we really got to get out of this power play business. I feel bad for Pico. Like, we don't want to be associated with this.
Yeah.
You're the worst.
I mean, it's fair.
I wonder if they're like worried about such a thing. Anyway, yeah, Pico. A couple of guys I wanted to hit in your others tier, like not the first or second tier, but just other guys maybe we're keeping an eye on. They're intriguing. I think we've talked about Cole Knuble a decent amount recently, but Nikita Grebenkin, he's just, I think perhaps provides an element that this team could use in terms of a little bit of scoring, a little bit of size up front, a little bit of power play help, but I just don't know if there's room for him on this roster prior to any injuries. Like, I would love him to make this team opening night, turn it over a little. It's just fun when there's new players in the lineup, especially when the last 3 years have gone poorly. But I don't know if I see room for him at this point right now.
Yeah, Grebenkin is an intriguing prospect to me. The reason why he isn't in my second tier is because I don't see anything more than a fun fan favorite bottom six winger. But fun fan favorite bottom six wingers are cool. And
You need them.
Yeah, maybe in the absolute perfect world, like the 0.5 percentile of outcomes, he becomes a second liner. But my ceiling for him is good third line wing. As I explained, that second tier is for guys with higher ceilings than good third line wing. Could he make the team? Sure, he could. If he has a really good camp, he could bang the door down and push Nick Delorier into the into the press box. He might already be starting the season in the press box, but who knows? Rick Tocchet's the head coach. There's a decent enough chance he rolls with Nick Delorier for a fair amount of games because he wants that presence in the lineup. Grebenkin could make the team. The read I've gotten is that he is not at the top of the list of guys that
Is to jump some dudes.
Yeah, he would have to have a very good camp where he's scoring points, lots of points in preseason games and really popping in drills. But I do believe he's going to get NHL games this year. I fully expect that. I just don't necessarily think it's going to be game one, but he's in the mix. They know he's ready. He played in NHL games for the Maple Leafs last year. So it's not like he's going to get hurt out there. It just comes down to whether there's a spot for him and whether he earns it. It's just for me, like the upside for Grebenkin for me isn't there in comparison to the guys that we just talked about.
And I know he's an intriguing prospect and he's got some skill and some size and there's like maybe a role he can play for this team. But the thing is, even at 6'2", 209, we do need left wingers, not a ton of depth on left wing. He's 22 years old. Now, yes, he did just come over from the K and he did pretty well there. His final season in the KHL, 45 games, 9 goals, 10 goals, something like that. 41 points. That's good. But in his first full AHL season, 9 goals in 39 games with the Marlies, another 3 in 11 with the Phantoms. It's not as if he's setting the AHL on fire. Yeah, he has okay-ish
He finished with 12 goals and 28 points in 50 games in his first AHL season. That's fine.
It's not terrible.
It's fine. It's not enough that you're going to be like, he has to be on the team. It's also not so little that you're thinking, is this guy even a prospect? I think he's a solid prospect. I will probably, when we do our ranking, have him in my top 15 for the Flyers prospects. He just, to me, doesn't have the upside of a guy like Bump, for example.
We talked, I think there was a super chat yesterday just that mentioned Samu Tuomaala briefly. He's 22. He'll be 23 in January. Feels like we were high on him at one point, and he's just kind of slipped a bit the last few years. First year in the AHL, 15 goals, 43 points. Last season, only played 46 games, 11 goals, 32 points. Decent production. But now at his age, we're kind of getting to the point of, what are you? And I don't know if there's like a great answer for Tuomaala right now.
It just seems like the Flyers aren't as high on him as they once were. The injuries, I think, have hurt him a bit. He's missed some time. He's maybe fallen down the depth chart a little bit, but I think he can get back there. He's exciting. He scores points, and he's got that plus speed. I always wondered if he might get a look because, number one, he made a good first impression on Tortorella. Number two, his speed in terms of stretching the defenses and the rush base attack that Torts wanted the team to play. If he might get a look for that reason, well, now Torts is gone. So maybe he doesn't fit as well with Tocchet as he did with Torts. But I do think he's still on the radar. And probably out of the guys who aren't in that second tier, he probably has the highest upside to me of those guys. Like, he still could be a good middle six winger who brings speed and maybe kills penalties and, is fun because he plays at a fast pace. But last season, to me, felt like his season where he needed to take a step, and instead he stagnated. And it just feels like the organization isn't as high on him as they were this time last year.
Yeah, and that's when we talk about like the plausible outcomes, this is one of those things we have to remember, like 2021 second round pick. At one point, the organization high on him, and it's okay. Now it's up to him. Let's see where he goes. All right. It didn't exactly pan out, and now he is what he is, pretty much. Now, look, maybe he stagnated and he takes a step this year, and we're saying a different thing about him, halfway through the season. But right now, it's okay. This is what we're talking about when it's the plausible outcomes. It doesn't always go the way you hope.
He's got time.
Yeah.
But the time is running out. He only has the 1 year left on his ELC. And as we saw this past summer, or this summer, I guess we could say, the Flyers are willing to non-tender guys who haven't clearly pushed themselves into the NHL conversation as they did with Elliot Desnoyers and with Zayd Wisdom, although they did ultimately bring Zayd back on the AHL only deal. They have a lot of prospects coming, and I think it's going to be harder and harder to keep taking up a contract spot, because they're going to need contract spots if they want to keep bringing these prospects up year over year over year. It's a big year for Tuomaala to show that he deserves to stay in the organization's plans.
All right. This is something I just want to hit you with. It's not up on allphly.com yet, but diehards, listen up. I believe, what is the date? Do we know the actual date of this? There's going to be a diehard hockey Q&A here at the PHLY studios. It is going to be, I think, did we decide on Monday, August 4th?
I believe it's Monday, August 4th.
I believe that's the date we decided on. Make sure you keep checking that allphly.com events page. There will be details about it, but for current diehards, or if you're looking to become one, hey, here's a good reason for you. We're going to be hosting a Q&A here, food and fun and hanging out with Charlie and I, and maybe, Kelly, maybe Steve, who knows, but it's going to be a fun time. Yeah, Monday, August 4th, 6 to 8. It's going to be a Q&A night here at the PHLY studios, so come check it out. We're going to have some fun. Details to come. It'll be up on the site soon. It is not yet, but I felt like this was a good buffer in between topics. Just let you keep it on your radar. Monday, August 4th, so you have a little time to get ready, set your travel arrangements, etc. All right, Charlie. So the other day, I meant to do this yesterday, but we, got stuck on the prospects, and for good reason. We like the prospects. They're fun. Expectations for the veteran/NHL defenseman on this team.
Okay.
We talked about top 6 forwards. What was that? Monday, I guess. And I wanted to do position groups. Like, all right, top 6 forwards, the depth guys, the defense. I want to hit the defense today because it's, like I said, we're going to be doing that opening night roster thing at some point as a mini pod. Right. And there's a lot of options here. Big pool of forwards, a lot of fun things that could happen. And you look at the D, and it's, well, Fristo's healthy. This is basically set.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much, there's a few different directions, but I kind of think for the players who are going to be on the ice, there's still questions about how good they're ultimately going to become, but we kind of know who they're going to be.
There are guys coming, but I don't think that any of the defensemen who are banging on the door are truly that close to knocking it over.
That forces one of the 6 out.
Yes. They will need to make some decisions. And I think the way they're looking at it, truthfully, and I know this isn't very, it's not something that fans are going to love to hear because it's not satisfying. I think their view of it, at least for this year, is defensemen always get hurt. These guys are going to get looks because defensemen are going to get hurt.
I was thinking a little something different, and this probably has more to do with like a Martone or something like that. If a whole lot of new guys make the team at once, you are starting their clocks all at the same time. Like, do you want that big rush of 3-4 years from now, we have to re-sign everybody? Or do you want to stagger it a little?
I don't.
Good problem to have if they're all good.
I don't worry about that. Okay. Just because maybe that matters if you're bringing up 3 blue chip guys at the same time that you're projecting they're all going to eventually be getting over 10 mil a year. But with the Flyers prospect pool, with the guys that are coming, like, do I think
is Emil Andrae going to be?
Yeah, like, does it matter that you're staggering Hunter McDonald versus Oliver Bonk?
Right,
like,
that's fair.
At the very least, they're not going to be, I don't think those guys, maybe Bonk is the only exception. I don't think those guys are getting big money until at best they're like 25, 26, 27.
When you start eating into the UFA years, and that's quite a while away for all of them.
Maybe that accounts for, well, maybe we don't want Michkov and Martone to be starting their contracts at the same time, but they're not going to be, so it's a non-factor.
All right. Let's lead it off, though, with Travis Sanheim. And I, at this point, like, I begrudgingly acknowledge he is a really good player. Could be a little more consistent. I think, like, on a team that had more than one top pair defenseman, he could be. He is counted on to do quite a bit. And there's no easy minutes in there. It's not like he's putting up his 25 minutes a night on the power play. He's not getting any power play time at all. In fact, this is all 5-on-5 PK. It's tough minutes, top line stuff. My only question with Sanheim: you actually think he's going to make the Olympic team?
I do.
You do.
I mean, unless he flops this year, which I guess is possible. It's a new coach. You know, maybe he just doesn't click well with Tocchet. He obviously got off to a rough start with Torts. But I get the sense that Hockey Canada was very happy with what they saw from Travis Sanheim. At the Four Nations, he went to and played well at Worlds over the summer, and I just think that he's got a good chance of making the team unless he flops. I think they like the skill set. I think they like the versatility that he can play both left and right side. I just think they like the fact that he's a steady player who showed that he can hang against the best of the best. So yeah, I think he has a better chance of making the team than Konechny does.
Yeah, I would say if we're ranking, like, those two are probably the only ones for Team Canada. We saw them both make Four Nations. Now there's some other factors. Like, it doesn't look like Alex Pietrangelo's playing at all this season. He didn't play in Four Nations. That's part of the reason Sanheim got the opportunity he got.
Sure.
There are other guys emerging. Like, Harley was really good for them in Four Nations, and maybe
I think Harley's on the team too.
Yeah, like he's gonna make the team.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe Sanheim is in the starting six. Maybe he's one of the 7 or 8 that they take, but doesn't get a ton of ice time. But I do think they really like him. And I wasn't sure if that was going to be the case. Like, you always think, man, Team Canada, that blue line, like, okay, it's not quite what it was a few years ago.
No, it's not.
And not to take anything away from Sanheim.
That I think is the big thing. I don't want, because I feel like because that was a thing. There was an article written when they announced the Four Nations team by a Canadian paper being like, man, we've fallen far if Travis Sanheim's making our national team. And that was kind of mean because I think it's underselling how good Travis Sanheim is. He's a darn good defenseman.
I think Hockey Canada thinks higher of Travis Sanheim
than Flyers fans do.
Average Flyers.
I 100% agree with that.
And I'm including myself in this.
I 100% agree with
when
that.
When he made that team, I was like, that was kind of my reaction. I was like, yeah. He's on the same blue line as Cale Makar. But that's just a superstar, and not everyone is a superstar. You do need the other guys, and he might be one of the 6 or 8 best Canadian defensemen. I do think he has a real legitimate chance to make the team and play. And I didn't think that when he got named to Four Nations, but it just seems like momentum's on his side in that way.
I think that people undersell how difficult it is to drive play, which Travis Sanheim does, in what is a clear-cut #1 role on a team that isn't that good.
On a bad team.
Yeah.
Like, this was the 4th worst team in hockey. That's something I think we forget. Like, yeah, man, Cale Makar is obviously in a different universe than Travis Sanheim. He's also in a different universe than 99.5% of the league, regardless of position. But he's also, like, passing to Nathan McKinnon a lot. That's
helps.
Like, that probably helps a tad.
That does boost his scoring numbers, I'm sure, just a bit.
For scoring, but just like, Sanheim doesn't have a ton of help. And things generally go kind of well when he's on the ice. And I don't think I can even continue to shortchange him, even acknowledging, is he my cup of tea stylistic-wise? No. But you look at it and go, he's pretty good.
I just think, like,
freaking good.
like we have like Lyndon here. And Lyndon's somebody who is one of the more knowledgeable people in our chat, and he's a 3. Like, I think what you need to understand is, like, maybe you say, like, well, on a great team he's a 3. I could be convinced that's true, but if he's a 3, like, if he's driving play in the role of a 1, if he was that team's 3 and getting the matchups of a 3,
that team's winning the cup.
He would be one of the best 3s in the NHL.
Yes.
So, like, don't undersell him by being like, well, on a good team, he's a 3. Like, maybe, but then he would be a freaking elite 3 that every stat person in the world would be like, man, he should be on the top pair. Travis Sanheim's a top pair defenseman. Like, because if you're doing that well in a #1 role on a team without high-end support, if you bump this version of Travis Sanheim back down to a second pair role, he would be dunking on fools constantly.
And that's, like, I always just go back to that 2010 blue line because they only had 4 guys. But, like, Chris Pronger, clear-cut #1, 29 minutes a game. And then Timonen 26-38, Matt Carl 25-54. That is the same thing. Who do you want to say was the 3? And then there's Coburn at 25-09. Like, okay, he's the 4, but, like, you know, he is a top pair defenseman, simply like just based on usage, other than, oh, we have Chris Pronger. Like whoever you want to say was the 3 there. Like I think Sanheim is a 3 in that sort of setup because it's Kimmo Timonen was the top guy on the second pair, but also he's our second best defenseman.
Yeah.
Like I think maybe that's Sanheim. And yes, on a great team, it's a little different. Before we hit this second break, I want to talk York real quick. My expectations for York, I don't even know what they are at this point. I want to see him keep playing the top pair minutes. I assume it's him and Sanheim is your top pair on opening night. Now, new coach, new ideas. Maybe, Tocchet just doesn't like a lefty on the right side, and we have to move some things around. But play top pair minutes, keep playing his game, maybe add a little bit of offense. I just don't know what to expect from Cam York at this point. I'm not even saying I think he's bad. He's been a little disappointing to me thus far, but I just don't know what Cam York is.
Yeah, I think my thing with York is with you, it's all about points. You just want to see him produce more.
I want to see him specifically produce more points. I just don't like, in terms of expectations, I want to see guys take a step. I don't know what taking a step for him is beyond producing.
I think for me with York, my biggest issue with him in terms of his play, because I think his defensive play is severely underrated by a lot of people. I think he is a good defensive defenseman, and the numbers back that up. I want to see him be more assertive, not even in terms of point production. If he scores more points, great. But I want to see him be more assertive with the puck. I want to see him do more things with the puck because I believe he has the skill and the skating ability to be a more effective puck mover and puck transporter and puck carrier than he has shown to this point in his NHL career. And I don't know why he doesn't do it, but I think he can, and I want to see him be more assertive.
I think
he'll be a better player for that if he does.
And this is, again, like my memory shot just doesn't really exist. But I feel like at the beginning of last season, however long it was, 10, 11 games before he got hurt, we were starting to see the more assertive Cam York.
Yeah, he never really came back.
And then he got injured, and then when he comes back, it's all Sanheim, and York is just... Because I think Sanheim had a rough start to last year. It's like, yo, York looks great.
By his own admission, he had a little bit of a slow start.
York is looking tremendous. This is awesome. And then the injury happens, and then it's all Sanheim. Sanheim rounds into form. And when York comes back, it's, he's out there. He's doing fine. But he's not the most noticeable. If you're looking at this pair, it's Travis Sanheim's making Team Canada, and Cam York is keeping his head above water.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it looked like.
Yeah, it's fair.
All right, let us hit our second commercial break. All right, I got to tell you about our friends at Mando. That's right. You know I love me some Mando, especially days like today. The reports, Jamie walks into our show when I'm doing Gargano this morning, and he just goes, yep, 100% humidity today. When it's this humid, when it's this steamy in the summer months, chances are you don't smell your best, even 12 hours after a shower. Just 12 hours after a shower, the average man's Grundle odor level, a 5 out of 10. If you showered last night, it's noon, it's almost 1 o'clock now. That means you're over a 5. You are closer to 10 than you are 0. That is for certain. And that's where Mando comes in. What is Mando? Mando is a whole body deodorant. When they say whole body, they mean safe to use anywhere from pits to balls to thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, and feet. That was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being mistreated. And this has been clinically proven to block odor all day and control it for up to 72 hours. Again, you know I'm a Sea Isle guy. I love going down the shore in the summer. I love hitting the beach and going right from the beach to the bar. And when you do that no shower happy hour, you may not be smelling your best, but it doesn't mean you can't. That's where Mando comes in. You can get Mando at all the big box retailers, Target, Walmart, that sort of thing. But you need to check out their website and grab one of those starter packs, because Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. Comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, couple free products of your choice, like a mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. It's a special offer for our listeners. New customers now get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. All you got to do is use code PHLY at shopmando.com. That's code PHLY at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide and free shipping. And please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando while we're here. From Mando to Mitsubishi. They're just coming for me today. They're absolutely all over it. Got to tell you about our friends at Cherry Hill Mitsubishi. Here is a fact that shocked me. Mitsubishi Motors is #1 in customer satisfaction with dealer services among mainstream brands and SUV owners. And that's just not something they're throwing at me, telling me to read. Oh, #1. No, it's because JD Power says it. That's right. So if you're looking for the most affordable 7-passenger SUV in America, CherryHillMitsubishi.com has you covered. You can check out that 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander and take advantage of their 0% for 60 months APR financing for PA residents only, or take home the 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage with payments starting at $55 a week with $0 down. Offer not valid with trade-in. Other offer subject to credit approval by third party. Not all applicants may qualify. Combine all this with the best warranty in the automotive business. It's that 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain and 5-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper. Why settle for a lesser warranty and be on the hook for costly repairs down the road? Doesn't make any sense. So stop in today and tell them PHLY sent you, and you'll receive a $100 restaurant.com gift card just for taking a test drive or completing a trade appraisal. I know people buy Mitsubishis elsewhere. I just don't know why. Drive home in your new Mitsubishi today. Just minutes from all bridges are available online 24/7 at cherryhillmitsubishi.com.
You know, I got to say,
I'm really trying.
I was really excited for this one after another ad read where it's Mando and then Mitsubishi. And I just was disappointed because I feel like Mando has lost a little bit of the novelty because I've heard it so many times. It's not as funny as it was in the beginning. And now you say Mitsubishi the correct way.
I just feel like I'm supposed to. I'm pretty sure they want me pronouncing their company correctly. I think it's way funnier when I do it wrong. But I had no idea I did it wrong up until like a month ago. So here we are.
All right, before we get going, I'm not even going to ask for 200 likes. I'm going to ask for 250 likes. Come on, gang. Let's get that like counter up to 250 by the end of the show, folks. Let's do it.
13 minutes left in the show. We still got to hit super chats. A few more defensemen to talk about. Let's go to Jamie Drysdale because I think he's got maybe the biggest question mark. Like what is even fair to expect from him at this point? What do we expect? But he's got a new coach. No more Brad Shaw. He's played 94 games as a Flyer. He's approaching 220 in his NHL career. It's really time for him to start showing some consistency, right? Just be the guy we need you to be. I don't know if he's ever going to be a top pair defenseman, something like that, but 20 points in 70 games last year, 7 of them in March, 16 games. That's kind of what we need. I know you're not crazy about defensemen putting up points. It's not like a prerequisite for you. But Jamie Drysdale needs to score a little more, no?
I would say with Jamie Drysdale, he has the widest range of plausible outcomes for next season on the defense. Because I could see a world where next year's his breakout year. He builds off of the gains he made in the second half and gets on a more effective power play. He ends up power play 1 on a power play that isn't a total dumpster fire, scores some points there. And suddenly he is a 50-point guy. And we're talking about how this is his breakout season. You could also see a world where the loss of Brad Shaw stunts his development at 5-on-5. He gets beat out for power play 1 by Cam York. Cam York has the existing chemistry with Trevor Zegras from the USNTDP, and it clicks for them. So Drysdale stuck on power play 2, doesn't score many points. And then we're talking at the end of the season about, is he just a passable third pair guy who you have to shelter to get anything out of? I'm hopeful that this is going to be the big leap forward year for Jamie Drysdale. I think it could be. I really wish Shaw was still here because I'd feel more confident that it would be, but I do think it's in there. Now it's up to Jamie Drysdale to get it out of himself, to become the guy who he has the plausible upside to become. And I don't think anyone knows whether he's going to do it. It's one of the low-key, most interesting storylines regarding the Flyers going into next season for me.
Yeah, that's I would fully agree with that. Like we're expecting, michkov to be great. We're not sure what we're going to be getting out of Zegras, but I think we're excited. This maybe Martone makes the team, maybe Luchenko makes the team. These are all okay. It's fun. Drysdale is like what are you? We need to figure this thing out and start planning the defense around whether or not this guy is who we think he is. So I think it is kind of Esser get off the pot time for him. I don't think he can't. Like, I'm not down on Jamie Drysdale. I liked what I saw in the second half. But for me, it's, can you be running this power play? Can you become some semblance of, I don't even want to say Chemo Timonen, but like him light? Like, can you be that?
I don't know. That might be a little bit. I don't know if he's ever going to have the defensive stick and the acumen and the compete that Chemo had, even in a best case scenario.
Some semblance of a guy who might be a little undersized, but can give you top 4 minutes. Like, that's what we need out of Jamie Drysdale. All right.
Okay.
Risto.
I just want him to be healthy.
I just want him to be healthy and get traded. I don't know if they're ever going to do it. I don't know if they ever will have any interest in doing it. But Rasmus Ristolainen will turn 31 on October 27th, and who even knows if he's in the lineup by the time he hits his 31st birthday. But you look at the games played over the last couple of years, he has, when he's been out there, been a lot better since Brad Shaw got his hands on him than when they acquired him. But like, he's got to be on the ice, and for a guy who, well, you need him in the playoffs. How,
if he can't stay healthy,
who cares? Like, this is like the Joel Embiid. Well, if he's ever healthy in the playoffs, well, when is that going to be? You know, we're talking about a guy with 776 career games and no playoff games.
Yeah, I just
what are we doing?
I think I'm just at the point where, like, and I know he's going to be a major topic of conversation because he's one of the few guys who could theoretically get traded. And I just feel like I've spent the last 10 years of my life constantly talking about Rasmus Ristolainen. I'm sick of it. Like, his value to the Flyers now is to be the defenseman on a pair with a guy who actually could be part of the future, like an Andrae, to help him, and then to get traded for assets that further the future. Like, I don't see a world where Rasmus Ristolainen is a key part of the next great Flyers team. So now it's just kind of like, all right, so we're waiting until he gets turned into something that could impact the next great Flyers team. His impact on the next great Flyers team is hopefully aiding in the development of guys like Andrae, McDonald, maybe Drysdale if they ever decide to do a two right-handed defense, a righty pair. But it just feels like it's just like we're just ticking down the days until I no longer have to talk about Rasmus Ristolainen.
I mean, just think of the evolution of, like, even years before it happened,
He stunk. Yeah, he was like the epitome of the, like, why do hockey people think this guy is good? His numbers are worse than trash.
Like, before Chuck Fletcher's the GM, just the idea, maybe they could get Risto, please don't trade for Risto. Yeah. And then why did they trade for Risto? And then please don't extend him. They extended him. And now it's, Risto's pretty good. And now it's Risto can never stay healthy.
Will
they ever? It is a very...
I'm sick of the Ristolainen discourse.
I can't wait for them to be good when we don't worry as much about these things that probably don't even matter.
I don't know. We're always going to.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the Dallas Stars have, like, they lost their playoff series because of a Ristolainen type and Cody Ceci.
Fair.
Unless you're Pete DeBoer, and then you think you lost the playoff series because of your all-world goalie.
Yeah, who apparently had an upper respiratory illness. I just want to hit Seeler real quick because expectations are he's Nick Seeler.
Nick Seeler's Nick Seeler.
Second straight year with 200+ hits.
I'm not sick of talking about Nick Seeler. He's a good player.
My only point about Seeler is, yes, he gets a lot of credit on Flyers broadcast, and it's like, well, you see him, he played 17 minutes and he's in tremendous pain, so of course he gets... Outside of Flyers broadcast, maybe we don't give him enough credit for being the steadying force he's been. Played over 17 minutes a game, second straight year with 200 blocks and 125 hits. Like, hard to complain about what Nick Seeler gives you.
His underlying numbers were a little bit down last year, but still, I would say, generally speaking, okay. I'm totally fine if he is the regular partner for Jamie Drysdale all next year. That works for me.
All right, I want to hit Zamula and Andrae real fast. Zamula... I wonder, just my question with him is, I wonder how committed the new staff is to Zamula. It's not as if they've invested this time in him that the previous ones have. Kind of feels like after, 60+ games each of the last 2 years, we know what he is. And Andrae feels like his spot's not as secured as it would have a few months ago. Even
Yeah.
a few
Yeah.
last year, it's oh yeah, man, next year Emil Andrae, of course. And now it's I don't know.
I think Andrae needs to have a good camp. He needs to have a good camp to keep himself very much in the mix. And if he has a good camp, he can make the team, especially if Ristolainen can't play, which seems likely at this point, at least for game one, start of the year. There will be a spot in the top 6 theoretically available. Andrae probably has to play a little bit better than other guys because I don't think the organization is going to be super into the idea of rolling with York, Drysdale, and Andrae in the top 6. So for him to force them to do that, he's going to have to play really well and be like, hey, you have to have me on this team because I deserve it. I'm a noted Emil Andrae fan, so I'm hoping that he does it, but we'll see. As for Zamula, Zamula is interesting because his underlying numbers last year at even strength were very good. And I watched him every game last year. And my only takeaway from that was how? How are his underlying numbers that good? Because he never, ever impressed me. Ever.
He might be the definition of just
He might be.
I don't know if he's ever outside of that, 6-game stretch where the power play with him on it wasn't the worst thing you've ever seen because it was a little not terrible. I don't know if he's ever popped at all.
He had a really bad start to the year.
Yes.
He was actively bad, ended up starting to get scratched. Then when he got back in the lineup and established himself again,
like
he was fine.
Steadied it.
He was fine. But if you look at his underlying numbers, if you were someone from Vancouver who's trying to see who could we trade for that teams might be willing to move, that Egor Zamula might be good. And then you talk to people around the Flyers and yeah, you can have him. Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe the Flyers like him, but I'm just saying in watching him, he is probably the one guy on the team where my eye test does not even remotely match up to the numbers. I don't know how his underlying numbers were as good as they were last year because he wasn't doing enough, period, to make me think that he deserves to have numbers that good.
I just have one quick question about Adam Ginning. Why isn't he like Dennis Gilbert? Why did they need you're going to lose Ginning as a Group 6 UFA unless he plays 69 games this year.
Well, clearly they don't care about that.
They just don't care. So, why not just make him the 7? What's the difference?
I think they wanted guys who had more clear-cut NHL experience. Right. But look, I would have had no problem if they would have just not signed Noah Juleson and just given it to Adam Ginning. I don't think they're that different in terms of what they'll likely provide at the NHL level. But Flyers wanted guys who they could be like, these are NHL defensemen. This guy might be an NHL defenseman. It's a whatever.
I don't care.
It's whatever
just a question that I found a little interesting, but it doesn't probably matter. All right, let's hit these super chats.
Hey-o.
All right, first one here from David S., one of our 2 identical twins that watches the show together
Adam S.
every day.
And David S.
Yeah. What do you even talk about in July when your team's good? A rebuild gives you storylines. What's left for Panthers fans? Just three-peat? I am curious. I mean, yeah.
I guess they just drink.
I hope to find out.
They go to the beach and drink.
You know what, David?
Go to the elbow room and drink.
I can't wait to find out about that. I don't know. Don't know. And maybe we'll get to find out one day soon.
Yeah.
I can't wait. From JH. Looking like we got about to get 50 days
Tree fitty.
Oh, tree fitty.
350 days left until
days.
Connor McDavid becomes a Philadelphia Flyer.
Gonna need about tree fitty.
Right.
All right. From J.E. Frucione. I believe that the club now has depth at center and has solid depth at defense, but lacks a true 1 in both positions. Given the chance to get one, but not both, what do you think Danny Briere would prioritize?
I would guess center.
Danny Briere being a center.
But I do think that it's kind of first off, I don't think that's a fair presentation because they could do both. There's nothing stopping them from doing both. But if you're going to present it that way where you got to choose one, I think they would choose center because they look at a team like Florida. It's did Florida really have a true number 1 defenseman? Is Aaron Ekblad a true number 1? Is Gustav Forsling a true number 1? Is Seth Jones a true number 1? No. They just had a bunch of good defensemen and they won a cup with them. And I think that's what the Flyers will look at. Whereas they did have a true number 1 center in Sasha Barkov.
All right, before we finish up Super Chats, we're headed to overtime. Go to allphly.com to keep watching. I think my answer would be different than Danny's. I think given the setup of this team right now and what I see they have, my priority might shift to number 1D. That said, you get both if you can.
Yeah.
But I just see, like J.E. says, like the depth at center, I trust a little more, or at least the ceiling at center, I trust a little more.
Do you really? Because I feel like that might be a product of the centers are more shiny new toy unknowns, so you're not as excited about you're more excited about them because you haven't gotten the chance to be disappointed by them. Whereas the defensemen, you know a little bit better, so you're like, they're not that good. When actually they have quite a few legitimately good defensemen that are young.
I think they do have. I just think Travis Sanheim, while yes, maybe Florida did it more with depth than a true number 1, I don't think Travis Sanheim can be the best defenseman on a good team, a really good team. I do think there's a world where the combination of Couturier, Zegras, Luchenko, Jack Nesbitt, like you could create something that works. Whereas I need something better. I need Sanheim and someone.
Yeah, I disagree because I think Travis Sanheim could easily play the role of Aaron Ekblad or Seth Jones on a cup team.
I think you'd also need 3 Sanheims.
Okay,
like I don't see York and Sanheim on the same level.
All right, and I agree with that. I think Sanheim is significantly better than York. That's fair.
All right, let's get through the rest of these. Another one from JH. Mitsubishi ad Wednesday. Dang, they must hate you. I love our friends at Cherry Hill Mitsubishi. Check them out. Get that restaurant.com gift card. Just mention our name. All right. From JE again, I'd like to ask Charlie GPT, please put together a trade package for Quinn Hughes, but the only assets you cannot include are Michkov and Martone. I would say this trade has been rejected.
Well, it depends.
Yes.
You're not getting Quinn Hughes for a package that doesn't include Michkov or Martone if everyone is in the mix for Quinn Hughes. If Quinn Hughes says,
I'm going on the East Coast.
I'm only going to sign with Jersey or Philly. Jersey because of my brothers, Philly because of Rick Tocchet, then perhaps you could get him for a reasonable price because you've cut down the plausible market. But if all 31 other teams are trying to trade for Quinn Hughes, you're going to have to give up one of your blue chip guys.
Would you include Martone in a Quinn Hughes package?
I would at least think about it. Yeah, okay. Sure.
All right. From Joshua Kilmartin. That's it. Just $1.99. Thank you.
Welcome.
Appreciate it, Joshua. From Purple Crayon. If you trust Martone and Michkov to be great players in 5 years, I think a competent 2C will look like a 1C between them. I tend to agree.
Probably. If they're both superstars.
Yeah, if they're both, again, when we talk about those plausible outcomes, if they hit that ceiling, absolutely. I think you could get by that way. If you have another legitimate 2C behind that as well, like just talking about the depth. All right. And finally, here's the Joshua comment. Do you see a possibility of Tippett getting better? Yeah, he's got tools, and like better from what he was last year is back to what he was, which is a pretty decent player.
Mm-hmm.
I believed in Tippett a lot at one point. My belief has been shaken, but there's no reason he can't other than he couldn't get himself there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't see any, he's signed long-term. He's got the security. He's got the size, the speed, the shot. I don't know what's stopping him other than unknown thing.
Yeah,
but
there's a very simple answer to this question. Yes.
Yeah. All right. And that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers today. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Follow us here on YouTube. Hit the like button, too. We're only at 230. Charlie demanded 250. You've let him down. He's very disappointed. No dinner for everyone watching. Follow us on all the socials. Just search PHLY on social media. See if we have something and follow. And follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. I am Bill Matz. That is Charlie O'Connor. Till tomorrow. Be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.